Welcome to another episode of Discover Harmony, Florida. I'm Kristin Macari, and I'm here with your host,
Jeanine Corcoran, broker for the Corcoran Connection, a real estate company.
Awesome. And so it's 2022. Woo-hoo, we made it. I'd like to say unscathed, but I don't know if anybody would agree with that.
Another year and COVID's coming along with us.
Yes, here we go. And so we are going to start out with our sales comparisons, I think, for 2021 as a whole compared to 2020. And I know the real estate market for us felt like it was absolutely nuts last year. So what do you have in statistics for us?
So in Harmony, it's easy because you would be very micro because there's different styles of houses. So yeah, I guess that's the right word. I'm right looking for styles. Anyway, so what we started with was one stories, because an appraiser won't compare a one story to a two story. So we figure we separate all one stories and all two stories. So went ahead and did that. And so in 2021, the median price per square foot when it sold was $144.50. And then in 2021, it's $173.96, almost $174 a square foot. That's a big jump for a single story.
Yeah. What did that go up? Did you have a percentage?
I did, 20%.
It's crazy. And that's in a year, right?
In a year where it was already high.
Right.
It's just,
right.
It's not single stories. And single stories, I feel are, if I was an investor, I'd be buying single stories all day long because they fit a wide variety of people.
Right.
You have families that have to live together, have mom and dad live there. They need to be in the downstairs bedroom. You don't always have that in the second story. So one story fits everyone.
Mm-hmm. It really does. And there aren't that many in Harmony. Like in Harmony, what are they calling us now? Harmony Central? Is that what I saw? We're Harmony Original Maine. Harmony Maine. Listen, we're Harmony, okay? We're just Harmony. No additives needed.
Harmony Original.
Yeah, the OGs. And so, there's not that many, just by design in the community. There's not a lot of one stories to be had. So
why do I was just talking to someone at a state and they said, why are they calling the new area, which is east of us? We have Harmony West to the west of us. We're Harmony. And then they're calling the newer Harmony Central. They're like, You should be called Harmony Central because you're the one that started.
Is there something east of that?
It got sold.
So is it going to be Harmony East? Is that why they can't use Harmony East?
I believe all that property got sold down to...
Desiree Ranches, right?
Desiree Ranch,
yeah. Okay. I have no idea because they want to be difficult. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So, and I think Harmony Maine, I remember hearing it in our CDD meetings, like they'd always say Harmony Maine, Harmony Maine, Harmony Maine.
Right. I just like Harmony.
Yeah.
Often imitated, never duplicated.
Yes. The other thing that's quite interesting is days on the market. So in 2020, which it was a fast moving market back then, 12 average median days on the market were 12 days. And in 2021, 4 days.
That checks out. That checks out. And that was only because you had to have 4 days to go over the 40 offers you received on a property to go under contract. So, if you really looked at, I would love if there was like some kind of statistic and you could see if like how quickly offers came in, because there were times I remember we'd list a property and there'd be multiple offers within like hours of it hitting the market. So
I know. I remember. So one family right out in St. Cloud here, we had that great offer summary sheet where it's color coded and just made it easier for the sellers, to see all the offers in one snapshot. And then I believe the son was an engineer or something. So when he took the sheet, he like kind of reversed it and he made it go this way where we were making it go this vertical.
Right.
So offer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he made it go this way so you could get to see the bottom line. I was like, oh, wow, that really works great. Right. It's funny how someone takes a little bit of something and makes it different. You're like, oh, I'm going to use that. But so we changed it. So that is quite different. All right, so let's go on to two stories. Two stories in Harmony. And two stories we have in... 2020 sold price per square foot, 123.70, so almost 124 a square foot. And then we have 144.65, and that increase is not quite 20 on the two stories, but it is 17%.
That's crazy still. Historically, I'd love to look back and, it would take some time and digging. So maybe if I have downtime, I'll go back and look, and I'd love to see what historical increases percentage-wise are, because I really don't think that we've had jumps quite this big historically. Like, this isn't necessarily a normal, occurrence year over year.
And if you go onto our website, I have year-end market reports, I believe, since, I don't know, 2000. Like, they go back. There was a couple of years that was skipped. I don't know why, but they're all the information's right in there. Right. And then that gets micro too. That separates. Doesn't do single stories versus two stories. It says customs versus resales versus. We could do that here because that's a different type of properties that we have. But for the two stories also, we have average day on the market last year was 30 days, and this year was 4.
That's crazy. That also checks out.
And by the way, last year we only sold 56, and this year we sold 80.
Wow. So huge increase in the number of properties even turned over. So
it's I love looking at numbers like that, after the fact. Okay, on to the lakes. The lakes is a 55 and older community, and we don't want to leave them out. And really resales just started not too long ago, probably before 2020, maybe. We had a few, but I think we actually sold the first resale in there, and it was fun to find out all the facts about who gets paid what. Right. But it's all good now. Anyhow, so in the lakes, it's interesting because even selling a house usually takes longer in the 55 and older, just because, and I'm in that age group. Because when people get to a certain age and they look at it, maybe there might be the last house, they just take a longer time. They don't jump on things. Right. They have the time. So I just feel like it's not a quick process for them. Right. So in 2020, price per square foot was $141.95, and in 2021 was $161.09. The increase was only 13.5%.
Oh wow! But that's crazy because, like you said, resales are more are newer there, so they might not have had as big of an increase, and they are still building new. Right, there is Jones Homes is still building, and
we still get new.
So that's always a challenge when you're kind of competing against the builder, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So that's crazy.
And then last year it was 52 days on the market versus this year it was 25 days on the market. So and you know what else? Last year they sold 28, and this year sold 28.
So they sold the same amount straight across the board. And if you're wondering what Jeanine is doing over here, you probably can't see, but Aria, the dog, has come to visit us today. And so she doesn't have a weird itch or anything, I promise.
No. Look how dirty your hands are. It's like dirt. Anyway, okay, so let's go on to the townhouses. We do have townhouses and condos in Ashley Park, but I'll start with the townhouses. And I was quite surprised. So in 2020, price per square foot, $116.74. In 2021, $124.20. Increase is only 6%.
Wow. Okay. So those didn't increase as much.
Last year we only sold 10, and this year we only sold 7. So if you have a townhouse, well, anything right now is hot.
Right.
Anything right now is hot.
Right. If you have a property to sell, now is the time to sell it. Just sitting on one,
We should pick at the little Fisher-Price house and put it out and say, for sale.
Right. $350,000. You can own this tiny little playhouse.
Average day on the market actually in 2020 was 24 days, and this year was 43 days. So there was.
I'm going to see. There's got to be a property skewing.
There's one that stayed on the market a lot longer, 145 days, and that kind of skewed the number, I think.
Right.
But
does it have the original list price? I'm just curious. I wonder if they were, because that can happen to you. I mean, even in a hot market, if you're way overpriced,
No, quite interesting. It says max 250. Closed at 272, but I it could have been a resale, from the builder, when they had on the MLS,
right?
That they keep on the market for a long time. But 10 sold last year, and only 7 sold this year in townhouses. Oh no, we're in townhouses. We're sorry, take that back. Not the lakes.
I did. That's what I was wondering when you said builder.
Yeah, builder. No building townhouses. Not yet.
Right.
So let's go on to the condo. So in Ashley Park, there are townhouses and condos, and this is the condos. There's 3 condo units for every building. They're all the same. as far as style, floor plan, whatnot.
Yep.
You have the 3 bedrooms in the front and 2 of those, and then a 2-bedroom in the back. And price per square foot in 2020, $111.70. Price per square foot in 2021, $117.03. 5% increase.
So about this, a little bit more than, barely
That
more
has
than.
surprised me. 12 sold 12 last year, 16 this year. Average days on the market last year were 29, this year 15. So
Right.
that the time on the market is definitely cutting in half.
Right. Right.
You know, it was interesting. I was meeting someone just the other day about his putting his condo on the market, and we had a townhouse in here that sold pretty good. You know, went higher. I think the last one sold 235, and this one sold for two. This one listed for 250. It was a townhouse, and then it sold for 271 or 272, and so that kind of bumped up the price. But the condos, nothing has sold since July,
Right.
and the price is still kind of, you know, staying there.
Right.
And so we're like, well, let's, you know, that's going to be an old comp for
Right.
an appraiser. So I'm like, let's just
Well, I
push the
wonder-
market, push it higher.
I think so too, and I would honestly like to talk to an appraiser and just kind of see, you know, what in a situation like this, do you take what the average increase in the properties around you have increased over the same period of time and use that to justify the higher price? Like, how do they figure out when things aren't selling? You know, like,
Yeah, that's
if I was an appraiser, that's what I would do.
yeah, that'll help us. I don't know. Well, I've had it happen, like, you know, in years gone by where we were selling the townhouses, there were no sales. And we went all the way down to Turtle Creek, which is,
Right.
8 miles away. But
Right.
where's the nearest condo?
Right.
It's
There isn't
all the
one.
way
Right.
in St. Cloud. That's
And
a
that's
tough
and
one.
that's not an apples to apples
Oh, no,
comparison at
no,
all.
no,
Like,
not
not
at
even
all.
close. I feel like you'd be better to do the appreciation value over, you know, over time. So I'm curious. We're going to reach out to an appraiser and find out.
Oh, that would be good, you know, get Robert Bass or someone on the show.
Right. Tell us how this works, because we
Yes.
think we know, but as realtors have often been, you know, found out that it's not
Listen,
necessarily the way.
I had somebody tell me the other day that I control the whole market. I control all the you know, I control everything. I didn't know.
That's nice.
I know. I didn't know.
Well, if you can control it, can you bring the prices down so I can buy a house?
Oh, I know. I know.
Can
I
you-
didn't. I was like, wow. I was like, how do I control that? I was like, I really don't.
Right.
You know, we just go by facts. You add an increase to the value and list a house, and you can list your house high. Absolutely. We had a house
Right.
out in the lakes that was on the market for a good 90 days
Right.
at the price that she was determined to get. And I said, no problem. We just have to,
You got to be
you
patient.
got to be patient, got to wait, and that right buyer has to come along, and we did, you know, and she got what she wanted,
Right.
you know, so, yeah. So
That's
there's nothing wrong
possible.
with that.
Yep.
So
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. So that's exciting stuff for Harmony. I mean, you know, even the market as a whole, just in general in Florida, you know, has been tremendous amount of increase over the past year. And I can only see it, you know, obviously nobody can predict the future, but the demand is there, you know, and there's still no inventory. There's nothing to buy.
no,
So
I know. Well, you just experienced that too.
I know,
you know.
it's
Someone just asked me this right before this podcast. You know, is it going to stay like this, or we get a crash? You know, the crash is never going to happen again like we had it, because the banks aren't going to let that happen. You know, even saw it during COVID, how you know, rents were forgiven, mortgage was put on the back end. So they didn't do that last time. So, you know, can the market go down? Absolutely, it could always go down.
right.
But all the experts are saying that going through this, at least through the spring towards the summer, it's not going to change. Now, the interest rates, absolutely, they're going to go up.
Right.
I hope just a little, you know, I don't want, you know, you have to because of inflation. You
Right.
can't keep making that inflation bubble.
Yeah.
But should be interesting.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how good we were at predicting the future come 2020, the end of 2022.
Okay, so what's your prediction? So just based on what I'm hearing, I suspect interest rates are going to go up. Let's say they just went up, so they'll probably go up at least another 3 times. I'm guessing, not a lot. You know what I mean? I don't think we'll get up to. I don't think we'll get up to 4. This is, and again, folks, this is just a guess.
Right.
I wish.
See, and I was just talking to a mortgage lender, Ryan from North Point, and he said he predicted 4.5 by the summer. 4.5, because we were looking at purchasing, and so he ran some numbers for me, and he said, depending on when you bought and how. So we're at 3.67 was Monday.
Okay,
Is what they opened at. So because the Fed is pulling back on buying those bonds, and so
that's true. Could go.
You
up
don't know,
and he knows his stuff. He's a mortgage.
But who knows if they do it too fast?
But even at 4.5, that's
it's still that's what he said. He said, okay, so now we're at pre-pandemic levels. That's still a really good interest rate. We're not talking 80s in the 18%, which I also looked up recently because, of course, I was panicked as a person in the market for a home. I'm like, oh my gosh, can we get to 18% again?
I remember back then the car loans were 21%.
Right.
Can you
That's
imagine?
Like a credit card.
Yeah,
right
credit
now.
card.
Might as well just put it on a credit card. No big deal. At least then you get the points and you can travel.
Even 5%, I just
know.
It's all,
but it's definitely decreases your purchasing power, and I agree. I mean, I don't see any particular, and me, I joke that I'm a realist, but in reality, I'm very cautious when it comes to the market.
She's a scaredy cat.
And listen, I am not a scaredy cat. I am just this is not anything to joke about. I really do have trauma from losing a house in 08. So,
I lost a house. I know. You lost a house.
So
we've all been there.
So I don't want to being back into buying again in this current market definitely makes me more anxious than if I would have bought like you did in, 2012 or 2013. Like that would have been easier to swallow than buying in now. But at the same time, one of my old bosses actually at a real estate development that I worked at actually said to me, there's no right time to do anything. Like the time is now. When you're ready, that's when the time is. So don't worry about trying to predict what's going to happen in the future and what's going to, can you afford that amount now? How is your life going to be changed at that particular moment in time and figure it out?
Yeah.
And so
it's
that's
like
kind
having a baby. There's never a right time.
There is never a right time.
You're never going to be ready.
No, you're never
gonna
ready.
have enough money.
No. So I think, I just keep trying to tell myself that, this is our time. We're what do I wish I was buying in 2013 prices? Absolutely. But, it is what it is. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I think that the demand for homes is not going to allow a crash to happen. Like even if interest rates rise, people still need houses. And I think in particular, my generation, like the millennials, so to speak, are finally entering the market en masse. They've finally gotten to the point where they can actually afford a house, which all sucks for us. Sorry, guys. But, I think that's where, a big flood of demand is coming from is this age group of, late 20s, early 30s type thing.
So Kristin's millennial, and of course I'm a boomer. And apparently there's a hashtag boomer. I don't know if it's nice because I'm a boomer and I can't figure it out. But
Okay, boomer.
But I will say, I ran out of masks. I didn't run out of masks. I ran out of the paper masks that I have, cloth masks. And so, and you were having the same problem. So I said, I'll just stop in CVS or Walgreens. And I went to a couple of stores. Couldn't find any. So, but I did find, I so need to have this, but anyway, I should have had it with me. But I found the ones that you put on your neck and you pull up.
Yeah, the neck gaiters.
Is that what they're called? Neck gaiters? Okay, I didn't even know that. Anyway, so I found them and I was like, well, I'll just buy a couple of these. Better to have these and not have anything if we need it as emergency type thing. And I bought 4 of them. I was going to give you a couple, but then you got masks. Guess the name of the company that makes them.
No idea.
Boomers. And wait, there's a story. I'm thinking there's a story behind this, okay? Because I'm thinking probably a lot of boomers wear these. And the reason I say that is because I was at a listing appointment and the gentleman was older than I was, and he had one of those pull up, and I was like, okay, whatever, cool, And he goes, yeah, he says, I can't wear those ones around my ears because my hearing aids fall out. And I was like, oh yeah, that would really stink. You know what I mean? Like having the rope around your ears. By the way, I need hearing aids still, but
right.
I'm all for it. Like I'll embrace. The doctor keeps saying I don't need it, but I'm all about embracing it.
Right.
But then I won't be able to put the mask behind my ears. So anyway.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah. So #boomers, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Look it up.
Hey, at least she didn't say # boomers, right?
No, that would be my oldest sisters.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, well, anyway, that's good.
This is a fun one.
Yeah, fun one. 2022.
Yep.
Here we are.
We're coming along. Let's see how the rest of the year plays out. I feel like we should take bets. Maybe take a poll. Should we poll people? What do you think is going to happen in the market? You know, I was
way off on the interest. So yeah, I mean,
listen, I don't know. I'm getting, anxious because I'm like, oh boy, some house better hit the market soon before I can't afford the price range that I'm looking at.
And they always say when the rates go up, it gets the buyer off the fence. What good is that going to do? There's nothing for them to buy.
There's literally
it's not that
nothing.
They're on the fence.
No, there's nothing to buy.
There's nothing to buy.
There's nothing to buy.
The builders are 9 months or more building.
Right.
Shortages keep happening, and
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, heck, this house I could probably sell for a lot of money, but
right, where would you go?
No, then I have to buy a $600,000 house.
Right,
That doesn't make any sense.
No, not at all. So anyway, so that was awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Discover Harmony Florida. You can check out the podcast on all your favorite platforms. We're also on YouTube. You can kind of see what we do here and the banter back and forth. Check out Jeanine's website, thecorcoranconnection.com, for the monthly market reports and the yearly market reports. And go ahead and leave us a review and subscribe. And we can't wait to see you in the next episode.